Moving a homestead, how did we do it? Good morning, friends, and welcome back to our channel, The Purpose-Driven Homestead. I'm Amanda, and today I'm doing our chores right now, and I figured I'd just go ahead and grab our camera and kind of have a casual conversation with you about moving a homestead. We just did it. We moved from the Midwest to North Carolina, so not an easy trip, and we have some tips that may help you if you're trying to do the same. We just came back from a long break on Instagram, specifically because I just could not juggle all of the balls at once. Moving is hard, and it requires a lot of energy and patience. And so that was just something that I had to lay down for a season. But when I came back, everybody was just kind of like, wait, you moved? And that is because my husband actually had to give a 3 months notice at his job that he was at, and everything was kind of hush hush. I couldn't say anything. But now that we moved, obviously I can talk about it. So every time we've moved in the past, we have had a relocation company move us, and it wasn't until we moved ourselves that I realized how much they actually did for us. And so blindsided, we actually got some quotes from a relocation company, actually 4. We were pretty thrown off on the quotes. We did not expect it to be that much. We obviously thought it was going to be a very costly thing, but some people can actually buy houses for as much as they were asking for, which if they can get that money, that's awesome. That is wonderful, but we don't have that kind of money. So we decided to go ahead and do everything on our own. As I mentioned, we had about 4 companies come out and take a look at our stuff and give us some quotes. And one of the ladies, I actually had a candid conversation with her. She was a kind of a prepper, homesteader, had a farm, the whole 9 yards. So she totally understood where we're coming from. And downstairs in our basement, we had quite a bit of a food storage. And I knew that that was going to be an issue in the very beginning when we started. But she mentioned to us that most of our weight is coming from that. And that's why we were getting such high quotes. So we really needed to make some decisions. Obviously, that was not something that we wanted to hear. Kind of figured that that was going to be the case. So in that conversation, she recommended that we get rid of a lot of, and donate a lot of the cans that had a lot of water base. So if you have corn, green beans, some broth, go ahead and get rid of that because those are cheaper cans. But the things like meat and beans and the protein sources, she recommended to go ahead and keep because we've spent a lot of money on that. Because we were moving ourselves and able to break up our trip into multiple trips, we took 8 or 9 trips to and from the Midwest to here in North Carolina. Since we were able to break it up like that, we were able to take some of our food storage each time. So we didn't get rid of as much as what she was recommending, but we still got rid of some of it. You can sell it on social media, you can get rid of it and donate it to people that are in need. Some of the items that we were trying to get rid of, they wouldn't take. A lot of it we were able to drop off at our local donation center and help other people out. So all that to say, you may need to make some decisions as far as food supply is concerned. Now, we do have some recommendations. This is our corn barn, and we have some of our food stored in here. We have a lot of grains, so rice and beans, wheat berries, those type of dry items. We were able to use some of these totes here. These are awesome. They're airtight. And so we didn't have any kind of concerns as far as, water getting in them and anything like that. They do have this little piece here that they nestle into. So that was really great to have those because they nestled in there and we were able to stack them pretty high in our trailer. Now, obviously, if you have a lot of heavy, dry goods in there, you're gonna wanna make sure that you compensate and make sure that both sides are, weighed appropriately. But that's how we did it, as well as having 5-gallon buckets. And we'll go ahead and link down below all of the items that we've shared here with you. Now, as far as packing our store-bought cans, we actually went to U-Haul. We found them to be a little bit cheaper than anyone else. I did buy some boxes here and there from Walmart if I was there, but a lot of them came from U-Haul. The small boxes are key because you don't want to put too much of the weight in those bigger boxes and load those down. Okay, so we didn't do everything. About the 5th time that we moved, I was done. I was done packing. We had started packing boxes back in November, December timeframe and moving in February. So it was a lot of packing. We definitely got rid of a lot of stuff at donation centers, but it was just still a lot of packing. So what we did was we hired 2 men in a truck, and they were awesome. They came out, we had them come out 2 times, and they came out to pack our house. They had one crew pack our house, and they had another crew to pack the truck. And they came out in one day, everything was done. When I say they came out to pack the truck, I do mean that we rented 2 U-Hauls 2 separate times, and they came out 2 separate times to go out and pack those trucks. I do believe that it was a 22-foot U-Haul, and they were able to go ahead and pack that up. Now, we did have a situation where we had a newer crew one of the times, and they came out, packed the truck, it looked awesome, but as they were closing the door, they actually said that it was probably weighed down too much and that might have some issues, and we were like, what? So obviously that was an issue, and we started looking at the truck after they left, and we're like, no way, we don't feel comfortable about driving this U-Haul. Let's go ahead and unpack it. So that night and into the morning, we unpacked that entire truck, which was a total bummer. But they actually were able to come back out in that afternoon and repack the truck, which was a blessing, because if you have never seen movers work, they are great. They are awesome at Tetris. The way they pack is not something that I would ever think of, and so they did an awesome job. If you are exhausted, if you can't do it all, definitely look for some help, because that was worth every dime that we spent. So as far as packing jars is concerned, your home preserved foods, we were able to keep all of our Balkan jar boxes, and that was wonderful because they had all the dividers in there. But I did get the recommendation from those on social media to put them in socks. So that would be an advice that I would go ahead and give to you. If you don't have any kind of boxes that they did come from the store, you can go ahead and pack them up so they don't clink together like that. Now, I did not pack that into boxes. Since we were taking trips multiple times, I went ahead and packed our truck and then the things on, and put the cans on the top of everything in my truck each time. So I probably took like 8 or 9 cases each time we took a trip. That way I didn't have to be concerned with all of them stacking and being all in a box clinking together. So that is just what we did. Now, as far as the packers, we were able to eat down a lot of our home preserved food supply while we were in transition. And so a lot of the jars that were empty, they went ahead and individually packed each one. I'm not sure that that was really necessary, but hey, they were in control and they need to pack it how they feel comfortable. So they packed each one individually and put it into a box. So that'll definitely be interesting to unpack all of that as I try to preserve food for next year's garden, but that is how they got it done. All right, mamas, you may need to help out your husband by learning how to drive a trailer. I have driven a trailer once or twice in the past, but it was just kind of like a straight way. I didn't have to learn how to back up or anything. But in these trips, I learned how to back this thing up. So this is a 12-foot, obviously open trailer that we were able to put a lot of our farm equipment, mowers, homesteading stuff like rabbit hutches and chicken tractors, we were able to put in this one. And then my husband drove our 16-foot trailer with his truck. So everything that came from our house, furniture, even our food items, that all went into our 16-foot trailer. Having these trailers was absolutely invaluable. You know, if we hadn't had them, we would have had to rent them from U-Haul each time, and it gets really, really expensive very quickly. Had we rented all of the trailers from U-Haul, obviously this trip took way more trips than we expected, and so we probably could have paid for a trailer in that amount of time. So definitely something to think about. All right, so let's go back to preps. As far as water is concerned, it's just not worth it. Go ahead and dump it. We dumped most of our water. We did keep about three days worth of gallons of water for us, just in case we went into an emergency situation. But the rest of it, I know you don't want to hear it, but you need to dump it because it just weighs too much. One of the first things that you can do on your new homestead is go ahead and get some more water. We went ahead and went to Sam's, got some more water, and now we have more water. We still need to set up our rain barrel situation. And if you haven't seen the rain barrel DIY, definitely go ahead and click over, because that is a great way of being able to store water on your homestead and collect water for free. But as far as that is concerned, you can go ahead and set that up and buy new water, but definitely it's just way too much weight. All right, so let's talk animals. Some animals on a homestead, they have a shorter lifespan, and that's something that you definitely want to consider. As far as our quail and our chickens are concerned, we went ahead and processed our quail, and then the chickens we actually donated to a friend, and it helped us out, as well as it helped them out too, because they were looking for laying hens that were already laying, and they were producing eggs for us and will for some time for them. But the length of time that they had left in them, It just wasn't worth it. As far as rabbits are concerned, we took all of our rabbits because they're a more rare breed. Things that you want to consider is, can you find a breeder where you're at? Like we've mentioned in other videos, it's been hard for us to find silver foxes here in North Carolina, and we've had to go to Tennessee in order to purchase more silver foxes. So those were definitely important to us. We kept all of them. Obviously, a livestock that is a little bit bigger, hogs, cows, you need a livestock trailer to go ahead and move them. I would say that those are probably worth moving, each one of them. But we have small animals on our homestead, from our backyard homestead, because we, didn't have a big farm. So as far as moving, big animals, that's not something that we had to do, but I would probably move them depending on the lifespan that they had left in them. I know it's sad to get rid of some chickens and some quail or whatever else you have on your homestead, but you can always order more. So we have some broilers here, we have some laying hens here, we also added turkeys on our homestead, and that is all that we have acquired while we've been here. We are able to work with a hatchery and get those delivered to us. So just remember that if you have to part ways with some of your animals, it's okay. Obviously, juggling other things while you're doing chores is not a good idea. This girl escaped. I need to go ahead and go get her back. A lot of you are starting off on raw land or don't have as much space as you did before. We downsized, and so without the help of our shipping container, I don't know how we could have done this move. We were able to keep a lot of our books and stuff from our house, furniture, everything. This really helped us out as far as being able to get here. What we did each time we came here, we just backed up our trailers right into there, loaded it off, and then went for another round. So having this was so key. We do have a house, obviously, that we put stuff into, but since we were downsizing, this was important. For the money, this is awesome to have out on a homestead if you have some space, because even after our move and whenever we find space for all of this stuff, we're gonna store all of our feed in there for our chickens, for all our animals on the homestead. We're gonna go ahead and keep that in there so that we can keep it away from all of the elements. It'll stay nice and dry in there, and it was a great place to go ahead and store stuff. I had this huge ambition in the beginning of the spring to go ahead and plant, and we planted a whole bunch of plants and for our garden, and we figured that we were going to be gardening this year, but we definitely didn't. Between all of the moves and stuff, I was able to water, but because we were gone for a week at a time or 5 days at a time, those plants in the grow house, they really just weren't making it. We do have a couple that we did bring, and again, just like the cans, I put it on top of stuff in my truck, and they went ahead and rode with us on the way here. We brought some rosemary from our garden. We brought some tomato plants that we were going to plant and never made it. So you're really gonna have to take a look at your plants and to determine whether or not it's valuable for you to bring. We did bring a lot of our berries, so we took clippings and dug up some of our raspberries, blackberries, some of our blueberries from our other property that we worked so hard on, and we were able to go ahead and bring that. And again, with our open trailer, that's where I put it. It was fine. It rode just fine all the way here, and we have that to go ahead and plant in the ground. So as far as plants are concerned, definitely go ahead and take a look at what's important to you. Obviously, the berries were really important to us because it took us years to establish that, and they were great at bearing fruit, and so that's definitely something that we wanted to go ahead and bring to our homestead, and so we made space in our trailers. But as far as gardening and keeping your tomato plants, it just didn't work out for us. Freezers are a difficult one. We ate as much as we could down out of our freezers, but there was definitely some stuff that we wanted to go ahead and keep. So we had an entire chest freezer that we brought with us. My husband's truck has a technology and a plug-in on the back of his bed where we were able to go ahead and stick a chest freezer into his truck and plug it in using his truck. So that was definitely a blessing. We were able to go ahead and take care of everything, but we also did unpack some of the freezer and put it into a cooler as well. If you have a good cooler, and I'm talking a good one, you can go ahead and put that in there with lots of ice, and it should be fine on one of your trips. Whether you take 1 or 2 days to get there, it should be good, and just go ahead and have that be a priority when you get there to unpack that freezer, get that plugged up, and go ahead and get that stuff in the cooler in there as quickly as possible. So it is possible. I would recommend to go ahead and eat down as much as you can, but if there are some stuff that you want to prioritize as far as meat, home-grown meat, anything like that, definitely you can do it. Some things that may be important to you may seem odd to other people. We moved our compost because it took us years and years to move to build up that compost, and lots of hard work. And so while some people would say, why in the world would you move dirt? It was a lot for us, and we knew we had to amend the soil here in our garden, and so we wanted to go ahead and bring some of that with us. We used big contractor bags in order to do that. They were nice and woven, and so they were super strong, and I was able to go ahead and scoop it all up and put it into these bags. And then we also put them into trash bins that we had so that we can go ahead and move that. And that is something that we put into our open trailer as well. That may seem odd to some people, but it was important to us. So definitely take a look at the things that are important to you and your homestead and the things that will help you on your next homestead and make those priority. All right, let's talk infrastructure. So we were able to bring our chicken tractor along with us. This is our meat chicken tractor, and it is made obviously out of PVC and metal. So we were able to go ahead and disassemble the entire thing. And once we got here, we went ahead and put it together so that we had a space for our chicks here. If all of our tractors were like this one that you see here in the background, this is a wood one instead of the PVC, we probably would have parted ways with it. Only because this can be broken really easily once you put it onto the trailer. This, we were able to just kind of put all, take it all down, and it was just pipes and metal that we had to bring. But if we would have had to bring this, it might have gotten broken. And also, you have to really weigh out how much time you spent on this. We took some time to cut all of this down, and because we knew that we were able to move this easily, we kept this, but we were able to make one of, or two of these actually, in a 2-day period of time. Now, we have 4 children, and we probably could have done it in a day period of time, but that didn't take very long. So definitely weigh out how long things took you to build. As far as our rabbit hutches, that took a long time for us to make, and it has lots of doors and stuff like that we didn't want to go ahead and part with. So we did bring that. Our chicken tractor went along with our chickens to help out that couple that took our chickens. It did have some issues. I think I've shared it with you in the past that we were having some issues moving it. The wheels weren't really working very well, and they were using it as a stationary coop. So that worked out well for them, but we didn't want to bring that with us. Plus, it was very, very tall, and I have no idea how we would have been able to move it. So if you have some infrastructure that you spent some time on and you want to get rid of, and don't want to move it, definitely put it up on social media. Facebook Marketplace is a great place. We've actually bought another set of rabbit hutches and a rabbit tractor on Facebook Marketplace. And so that is a great place if you're trying to get rid of something and really you don't want to part with it because it's so expensive. Go ahead and put it up on there, make some money, and build a new one once you get to your new homestead. Since we knew we were going to expand our homestead and have more laying hens, not only did we get rid of our coop because it helped out the couple and helped us out as well, but we knew we needed a bigger coop. So we went ahead and made this coop. This is a mobile tractor, and it was made out of an old trailer. If you haven't seen the build on that, definitely go ahead and take a look at the iCards above, because this was a great project and it will house up to 100 hens if we bring those onto our homestead. We also made 2 of these recently, and that has helped us to house animals. So really, and those only took 2 days each. And so really take a look at how much money you spent in the infrastructure, if you can get that money back, if you list it up on social media, and how long it would take you to rebuild something, because it may not be worth an entire trip to take one of your tractors. All right, guys, I think that's it for now. I have some birds that I need to go ahead and feed, and it is a little bit difficult to go ahead and do while I am doing all of this. So I'm gonna go ahead and move them and get them situated. But if you have more questions, please feel free to leave a comment down below. We're happy to answer any questions that you have as far as moving, if we know it, because I know how difficult it is, but I know you can do this. Definitely be encouraged that other people have done the same thing, and a lot of people are doing this right now. So be inspired by others and know that you can go ahead and do this. If you guys aren't subscribed to our channel, please go ahead and subscribe. We have lots of videos coming out as far as building our homestead from the ground up, and we'd love to share that with you. As for now, guys, have a blessed day.